No bullshit. Just good stuff for you. Hello comrades, I am greeting you. My name is Gast and I spent about 20 years in the French Foreign Legion. And today I will react to a movie called Warriors of the French Foreign Legion. Enjoy! So let's have a look at Warriors of the French Foreign Legion and I will give you my opinion immediately.
It's been called an army of thieves and cutthroats.
I had gotten in some trouble back in the States.
A band of hired killers.
I was in the Australian Army and I was kicked out.
From the burning sands of northern Africa to the jungles of South America. Whenever the odds are long and the battle fierce, the French Foreign Legion has been called into action.
I think they are more disposable. They are ready for death.
Yes, ready. I will stop the movie here. They said that the French Foreign Legion is an army of thieves. Of course, this is wrong. This is not true. Maybe 100 years ago, yes, but today, no. The French Foreign Legion gives you a second chance. And they don't look towards your shoulder to see your past. They give you a second chance, and when you have a criminal record, of course you can join the French Foreign Legion, it's no problem. But when you have blood on your fingers, they won't take you, right? Later on in the movie, we saw Djibouti, we saw French Guiana and all this sort of training. You could see Colonel Bouquin. Bouquin was the commander-in-chief, the chef de corps du 2e Régiment étranger, the parachutist of the colonel of the paratrooper regiment within the French Foreign Legion, the only paratrooper regiment within the French Foreign Legion. And he said, later on he became Commandeur, he was Commandant de la Légion étrangère, so the highest ranking officer within the French Foreign Legion. And he said that the Legionnaire is ready for death. And this is absolutely true, I can confirm. Because what happened? When you are a young man and you want to join the French Foreign Legion, you're coming from India, from Sweden, you're coming from United States, you're coming from the UK, you're coming from Sri Lanka, wherever, you know, and you have a hard past and you want to start a new life, you want a second chance, the Legion gives you a second chance. And when you join the Legion, they don't ask you, where do you come from? What is your background? Who are you? No. They just give you a second chance, you know? And to prove the gratitude for this second chance, the Legionnaire is ready to die in action for the French Foreign Legion. Legio Patria Nostra. And this is true. Ready for death. Yes, we are ready for death. And this is absolutely true. Okay, let's go on, see the second part of the movie.
We send the Legionnaires out into the jungle to live, survive and fight in this environment. Basically, they will have to live off the land. We'll put them more or less through a tough time, but we won't really annihilate them, if you like. The jungle itself will take care of that.
The thing that makes a Legionnaire tougher than any other soldier in the world is it's a mental toughness. You have to be able to deal with harsh situations, crude surroundings, everything being tough, and you have to have the attitude that you're going to be tougher.
Malaria, dengue fever, yellow fever, just a few of the natural hazards.
Yes, I confirm what Tom Kaddish said. The Legionnaires are tougher than the rest, And when you are, I spent myself 2 years in French Guiana as a Legionnaire, from 1985 to 1987. And the jungle normally is your enemy, but you have to make your enemy your friend, and that's what we did. We not only had malaria and dengue fever and yellow fever. We also had to fight with garimperos, illegal gold diggers. We had to fight against the heavy rain and the meteor. We had to fight against rivers, against crossing dangerous rivers. We had to fight against boringness. We had to fight against a lot of things like snakes. Poison snakes, anacondas, and spiders, and all this stuff. But legionnaires in French Guiana, they are trained to survive all situations, and we made maneuvers with KSK, Kommando Spezialkräfte. We made maneuvers with Marines. We made maneuvers with Navy SEALs. All came to us to the jungle warfare school, and I, of course, I observed them. I had an eye on them, and when I saw them working, how they proceed, how they deal, how they behave in survival situations, I can confirm that legionnaires are tougher than the rest, and it's all a mental stuff. It's all a mental stuff. The Legion gave me a second chance, and I go forward. I go forward. Nothing can stop me, and that's really a mental stuff, right? So let's go to the next part and see what happened then.
Over 30 nations came together to form the coalition. But one band of soldiers stood apart: the French Foreign Legion. A regiment shrouded in secrecy and littered with mystique. They shouldered a heavy burden: guard the coalition's left flank from counterattack. General Norman Schwarzkopf commanded the Allied coalition.
The Legion did a great job. They had the mobility that was required for that kind of an operation. A lot of people said when we went to propose the operation in the first place, we'd bogged down in the sand or we'd hit the rocks or something like that. They didn't at all. So that was really the ideal role for them.
Yes, Stormy Norman, 4-star General Norman Schwarzkopf. He had a very high opinion of the French Foreign Legion. So that's why we made him honorary legionnaire. This is very seldom, it's very rare. So he can wear with proudness the Kepi Blanc. And yes, Desert Storm. In French we call it Opération Daguet. And my regiment, the 2nd Rep, was not part of Opération Daguet, except our commando team from the CRAP, Commando de Recherche et Action dans la Profondeur. So we had both teams in action. And Americans led the way, yes, but military experts know that the first troops who crossed the border from Kuwait into Iraq has not been American or British soldiers, but the French Foreign Legion with the 2nd REI and the 1st RIC. That's the point, and that's the truth. And they did a very brilliant job there, as I can confirm, yes, because I talked with them later on when they came back to the regiment as heroes. But let's have a look at this third and last part of the movie, Warriors of the French Foreign Legion. Yeah.
If you're going to join an army, you don't want to spend all your time in garrison. You don't want to waste your time training and never getting a chance to use it. If you join the Legion, more likely than not, you're going to go to combat.
This is where their story begins. Paris, Fort de Nogent, the entry point into the Legion. Millions of men have passed through these gates into a dark and secretive world where only 1 in 12 is accepted. A fierce competition to be one of the chosen few.
Yes, what Thomas Kadish said, it's absolutely true. Combat is our kerosene. Yeah? Combat is our motor as an elite soldier. And I can remember, as I have been member of the French Foreign Legion, all we wanted is to go to operations, is to go to combat, And then when you are in, this is a strange phenomena, when you are in combat, in operation, in action, after a while you say, okay, it's good now, I want to go back to garrison. But when you are in the garrison, you want to go back to combat. So we only have two worlds we're living in. There's not an intermediate. combat operations or garrison. But in garrison we stay not for a long time, maybe a couple of weeks, and then it's not good for us. For an elite soldier to be in a garrison is absolutely no good. So the only adrenaline who pushes us staying in the Legion is, yes, intervention, combat and operations. Yes, and when it comes to recruitment, actually 1 out of 10 is taken by the French Foreign Legion, and the challenge to come in there, it's very tough. It's a very tough challenge. So 1 out of 10 is taken, and each year the French Foreign Legion actually hires about 1,200, 1,300 men, not more than this. But we have about 12,000 applicants each year asking to be member of the French Foreign Legion. So it's a hard challenge. And in France we have about 10 PILs, what means Poste Information Légion Étrangère, where applicants can hire. But we also have 2 pre-selection centers, and these are in Fort-de-Nogent in Paris and in Cartier-Vienneau in Aubagne. And when a gentleman want to join the French Foreign Legion, he has to come to France. The hiring process cannot happen outside of the French soil. So, gentlemen, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Other movies will follow. Amitié, Legionnaire, Yours Thomas Gast. Bye bye.